Hello, my name is Simon and welcome to this 5th anniversary edition of the Retro News Roundup. I'll start this month's episode with the not entirely unexpected news that Nintendo have officially stopped production of the NES Mini, because it's clearly a company that hates making money. No reasons have been given for this decision, and Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé has apologised for the many people that have missed out. The scalpers, meanwhile, are rejoicing. To stop that from being too depressing, however, rumours have surfaced that an SNES Mini may be in the works for release by the end of the year. A truly exciting prospect, and one that has spawned many opportunists blathering on about which titles might and might not appear on the system. Talking of the SNES, a Kickstarter for an unofficial visual compendium based on the console was launched. It was funded within a day. A hardback copy will set you back £30 plus shipping, with the book available in November this year. In other crowdfunding news, a Kickstarter was created for the ZX Spectrum Next system. It's effectively a new and improved version of the ancient British home computer, and one will set you back £175. And as the project has already been funded, units will be shipped out early next year. Then there were two other crowdfunding launches, one for a vinyl tribute to the music on the Commodore 64, which was successfully funded, and the second for a documentary on the N64's Goldeneye, called Goldenera. The latter has a long way to go to reach its goal, however.
Closing time, James. Last call.
And finally for this segment, a fan-powered effort to document hundreds of classic RPGs has been made public, and includes pieces on games such as Ultima and Defender of the Crown. It's called the CRPG Book, and it's well worth checking out. This is probably the most varied ports and re-releases section I've ever had to assemble. I'll start with the Nintendo Switch, which received ports of several Neo Geo titles: Alpha Mission 2, Samurai Showdown 4, Fatal Fury, and Over Top. It, as well as the 3DS, also got a hugely enjoyable remake of Blaster Master, called Blaster Master Zero. The Wii U, in comparison, got a port of the largely forgettable PC Engine title World Sports Competition. These were mere footnotes compared to some of the big nostalgia hitters that arrived last month though. I'll start with the PlayStation Network, with the PS4 receiving a port of Neo Geo title Art of Fighting and remasters of Parappa the Rapper and Full Throttle. The latter is also available on Vita and PC. Even the Xbox One joined the fun, with Neo Geo title Galaxy Fight Universal Warriors and a remaster surely nobody asked for, Voodoo Vince, also available on Windows. Next there was the impressive remake of Wonder Boy, The Dragon's Trap, released on the Switch, PS4 and Xbox One. The final big release for this section was the Disney Afternoon Collection for PC, PS4 and Xbox One. It includes NES titles Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, and the first and second instalment of DuckTales and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. The final new game for this section is a remake of the Atari 2600 version of Space Invaders for the PC. If all that wasn't enough, a re-release of Night Trap was announced for the PS4, and will be out soon. Just be sure not to tell Joe Lieberman. And finally, to round things off, after being removed from PSN, XBLA and Steam last year, the remake of Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse has been relisted, and can now be downloaded on these online services yet again. Which is nice. Nice. Aside from the aforementioned NES Mini story, I only have one other piece of hardware news for you this month, and that's that hardware modder BennVenn is currently developing a device that allows you to play Game Boy Advance titles on your TV. It's called the GBA-VGA converter. It's only in the prototype stage at the moment, but a limited run of 10 will be produced sooner rather than later. So keep an eye on BennVenn's Facebook page, linked to in the description below, if you want to be one of the first to nab one. A lot of retro homebrew came out last month, and I'll start with a couple of promising looking shooters spawned from the Sega Master System coding competition, Astro Force and Mecha 8. Moving on, the ZX Spectrum continued to get a lot of homebrew love, with no less than 5 new releases. These included Code Zero, The Big Javies Adventure, Dead Space, Crystal Kingdom Dizzy, and Wolf Castle McBain. And yes, the latter is indeed based upon the Simpsons character. The Specky's rival system, the Commodore 64, received 4 new titles in comparison: Space Trip 2086, Dark Destroyer 2117, a port of indie sensation VVV, and Gunfight. The latter is also available on the Commodore 128 and Plus 4. Next, the Atari 2600 got a pair of new titles, No Touchy and Robin's Roundabouts. Then a trio of games for different systems: Gyrus for the MSX, Castle Defender on the BBC Micro, and Pentonimo for the Amstrad CPC, Plus and GX4000. There was also some news for desktop gaming fans. The first tidbit being that fan-powered Sonic title Time Twisted was released for the PC last month, after being in the works for no less than 12 years. A load of Mac titles were also added to the Internet Archive, including Dark Castle and Rogue. The former is definitely better on Mac than on consoles. Not that that's hard. Finally, for the new homebrew this episode, Escape 2042 was released for the Mega Drive, Dreamcast and Game Boy, with prices for a copy starting at €33. And to round off this section, Pico Interactive have launched an Indiegogo page for re-releases of SNES titles Iron Commando and Legend. It'll set you back $7 if you want to download both titles, and $75 if you want them in cartridge form. A trio of games were saved from the clutches of obscurity last month. The first was unreleased NES title Mystery World Dizzy, which is now playable online thanks to its developers the Oliver Twins and the help of Team Yokefolk. Which is excellent news. I feel like I've used that yoke in the past, but I can't say exactly when I might have done so. My mind is scrambled, clearly. Okay, I'm done. Second is Globus, a ZX Spectrum game that was developed way back in 1987, but never released. Until now. And finally, MS-DOS title Pillar, made in the late 90s but like Globus never launched officially, is now available to download online for free. Isn't that nice? 4 English language fan translations this month, and I think it would be fair to say that they're all for lesser known titles. They include Let's Go by Train 64 for the, you guessed it, N64, Southern Boy Papua, Ambition of Ganma on the Game Boy, Minal Vatan Saga, Ragon no Fukatsu for the NES, and finally EVO, The Theory of Evolution on the PC 98. That's all for this month then, but before we finish I'd like to say thanks to everyone who supported this show over the last 5 years, whether that's liking a video, leaving a comment or sharing it on your social feeds. I genuinely wouldn't have kept plugging away to this point if it wasn't for you, so thanks so much. I really do appreciate it. Until next time, bye for now.
The Galactic Emperor's top order is destruction.